Hello friends, welcome back to our little coffee club. Today we're gonna brew a shot of espresso with the very last dose I have left of the coffee I brought back from the Dripolator. If you guys remember that video, when I brewed that coffee, it seemed like all the stars aligned and I got a perfect shot of espresso. It was one of them Slayer shots. I'm gonna try to replicate that today. I've had that coffee put away here in one of these little fellow canisters, and it's been in there for over a month. I hope that the number that we dialed in last time still works for the coffee. It's unlikely that we'll get another perfect shot of espresso, but we'll see how good it is. You guys know that so far probably my favorite espresso that I've brewed here on the channel is the Congo Kivu coffee from Good Brothers. The Congo Kivu has like a classic kind of profile where you get those dark chocolate, caramel, burnt sugar, molasses type flavors, very traditional, but with an upfront acidity and fruitiness, a very light tartness, kind of like the red currant that we've had on other coffees. Or maybe the Congo Kivu is the one with the red currant. I can't remember right now, but perhaps that is what you get from that coffee, and I find it to be spectacular. It's my favorite. Now, this coffee, I have a feeling is the same coffee, as a matter of fact. If it's not the same exact thing, I have a good feeling that it's very, very similar. At least like the same varietal. This coffee is also from Africa. This is an Ethiopian. I remember it being a washed coffee, and it's a medium roast. The Congo Kivu has a lot of that, and in my opinion, the Congo Kivu is basically the same thing. I mean, these two coffees, I've never really tried them side by side. Maybe it's something, well, I can't buy this one again because this is a coffee that the Dripolator roasted themselves. And the only thing I remember about it, that it is a washed Ethiopian medium roast, and they give it to you in a kind of like a plain little brown bag, so there's no information. It doesn't tell you anything about the varietal, it doesn't tell you about the farm, exactly where the coffee was grown. You don't get all of that information. But my guess is that this coffee could be the same one as the Congo Kivu, or at least very, very similar. Again, it was a spectacular shot. Even when I brew the Congo Kivu, it's rare that you get the perfect shot. You get very good shots time after time, but to get that perfect shot, like it happened the one time with the Dripolator, I mean, it just doesn't happen. If you guys, do espresso at home the way I do, and if you're watching me, you probably do, you know what I'm talking about, okay? You can try the same coffee and pull 10 shots, and it is unlikely that you're gonna get a perfect shot twice, okay? It just doesn't happen. But anyway, we're gonna try to do that today. I also wanted to answer a grinder related question. Somebody asked me that how often should you clean your grinder? I already answered them in the messages, but basically, that is going to depend a little bit as to what kind of coffee it is that you're mainly grinding. If you do a lot of like darker roast coffees, you might want to clean your grinder a bit more often, maybe every 2 or 3 months, I would say. I know that there's people that they're crazy about cleaning their grinder. They clean it every time, or like they clean it at least once a week. I think that's a bit much. I don't think you really need to do that. As a matter of fact, my hand grinder, I've never disassembled it to clean it. I clean it with the little blower that came with it. I clean it with the little brush that came with it. But as far as like taking it completely apart to clean the grinder, I've never done that. I just usually, if I brew something that is funky, or like an unusual type coffee, or like a darker roast coffee, then what I do is, once I'm done with that coffee, I want to brew something else, I'll just purge it. I'll add some beans there, maybe 4 or 5 grams of whatever it is I'm going to start grinding now, and I'll just grind it over the sink and throw that away, and then I use the little puffer that came with it and the little brush, and I clean it out well. But as far as like completely taking it apart and doing a deep cleaning, I've had it already like 2 years. I've never done that, and I don't see anything wrong with that. When I was using the Breville Smart Grinder Pro, that grinder's a little bit more intricate to take apart and cleaning. I have a full video actually I have 2 videos on the channel as to how to deep clean the grinder, how to take it apart. If you need help with that, comment below and I'll give you the link to those videos. As far as the niche 0, I clean that maybe, like I said, every 2 or 3 months probably, unless if it's one of those cold ferments, I usually, after a cold ferment coffee, I will take it apart and clean it. Also, maybe if you're doing like really, like I said, really dark roasted coffees, you might want to do it in a month's time or a couple weeks or something like that. But with the kind of coffees that I drink, you're fine doing it like every 3 months, maybe even 6 months. The people say, and I've never seen this happen. I've never seen it happen to me, where they say that the coffee can accumulate in certain areas in the grinder, and then you could start, if it starts to just age in there and it's there for months, it could start becoming like rancid in flavor, and it just doesn't, it has an adverse effect on the coffee flavor, and it won't taste good. So, that can affect your shots. And since we're always looking for the best we can get out of our equipment, why allow it to get to that point, right? So I would say at least, at minimum, even if you're drinking like lighter roast coffees, maybe every 6 months, okay, like twice a year. If you get into the darker and darker roasted coffees, maybe frequent cleanings is probably a good idea. I do drink a lot of like medium roast, and in some instances, I've even had some darker roast coffees here, and usually once I'm done with that bag, I'll probably take it apart and clean it. Now, with the Niche Zero, it's very easy to clean and to take apart. Way easier than the Breville Smart Grinder Pro, so that's an advantage right there. The Niche Zero is very easy to take apart and clean. There's videos already online, but if you guys want me to get into that one day, comment below, maybe we could do that. Now, the thing is, after you disassemble it to clean it, which is very easy, like I said, you do have to calibrate the grinder when you put it back together, but again, it's very easy to do. So the only thing that I've noticed is that every time you calibrate it, the calibration will be off a little bit. So let's say that you are grinding a certain coffee at grind size 12. After you calibrate it, you might be down to 10, or you might be up to 14 or something like that. It probably won't be exactly 12 again. But yeah, the Niche Zero, after you do a deep cleaning, you should calibrate it. The Niche Duo, my other grinder, the flatbed grinder, that one you do not need to calibrate. And to calibrate that grinder, it's a little bit more intricate. And as a matter of fact, I'm gonna have to calibrate mine because I already checked. And I plan on using it mainly with the brew burrs and to make filter coffee. Those burrs are installed in the grinder right now, and I tested the calibration on it to see if the 0 point was where it started to touch, and it's not. You have to go like I would say like 5 notches below the 0, and you guys saw that's what was happening as well with the filter coffee, and I was having to go below 0 to get an acceptable grind size. So I will probably do the calibration on it with the brew burrs because that's mainly what I want to use on the grinder. I've been doing almost all my filter coffee on the Niche Duo and my espresso on the Niche Zero. Last time we pulled a shot of espresso with the hand grinder, with the K+. That's what I used to use almost always for my filter coffee, and I still do. Right now I'm using it for that peach cold ferment that I have from Good Brothers. I'm using it strictly on the hand grinder because I don't want to dirty the other 2 grinders, because again, I just cleaned them, and I don't want to have to take it apart and clean them again right now. And the K+ is perfectly well suited for making pour overs and for making espresso. Last time when I pulled a shot of espresso, it took me a while to dial in, only for the reason that I hadn't used it for espresso for like months. I didn't even remember where to start, and I struggled a little bit, but we eventually got it there, and we got a wonderful shot of espresso from it. So yeah, how often should you clean your grinder? Again, it depends a little bit on the coffee you're going to be using, and I would say at a minimum, do it like every 6 months. That is one of the reasons why get a Niche, because they're so easy to take apart and to clean. It's one of the easiest grinders that I know of. So we're gonna go over to the other counter and pull a shot of espresso. I only have 1 dose left, so if we get it wrong and it doesn't taste right, then we'll have to pull another shot with another coffee, because I have 1 shot left. I saved it to try to make that perfect shot of espresso again, or at least get something really, really good. This is a coffee that you know, I found it to be, it's one of those ones that are really good for espresso, but you can also enjoy as filter because they do have a nice level of acidity and kind of like fruitiness up front, okay, like the Congo Kivu. So, but I wanted to try to replicate that shot of espresso because, again, the stars aligned. It was perfect. I want to try to get that again today. Before we get into all of that, I want to show you guys a little bit more from the Specialty Coffee Association Expo in Chicago. I want to show you guys some of the neatest products that I saw at the show. And again, there were so many booths. There's just no way to like go through everything. Maybe if you go all 3 or 4 days and you spend the whole day there, and you know, little by little, you might get to see everything. But there's a lot. There was a lot. So today I want to show you guys a little bit from the show, a little bit more from the show, and then I'll meet you guys at the other counter to pull a shot of espresso. So of course, let's talk about the robots. By now, I'm sure you guys have seen other YouTubers talk about this, the robots at the show. The Onyx booth had a robot, and then there was this booth that had 2 robots working the bar. And these 2 machines, they did absolutely everything from tamping to cleaning the portafilter, running the machine. They did absolutely everything. It was incredible to watch them do it. And well, here's a little bit of that. It's got 2 of these. The station has 2 parts to it to clean the portafilter, and then it even, let's see if he does it now. Oh, he's gonna lock in. But there's even a little dryer down there. I don't know if you could see it. He'll put it up to the dryer, and then it blows air into the portafilter and dries it. I mean, it does everything from tapping on there to even out the grinds, and then it tamps. This machine tamps. But this is like insane. Yeah, this one's way more sophisticated than what I had seen before. I mean, and just wait until AI takes over. It's crazy. Wow, let's see if he dries it. Okay, there he goes. There he goes. He dries it and everything. Now when he grinds, you'll see. When he grinds, he taps the little. This is cool. Wait, see, he's getting his. He's gonna pull another shot over there. I mean, he's working the bar. I mean, he's got a 2 group going at the same time there. Okay, here he goes. Here he goes. You see? That's insane. That's insane, man. That is crazy. He's stamping. Now he goes and locks in, pulls another shot. Well, this is one of the coolest things I've seen so far. Wow. Anyway, that's out of control. Another machine that I found to be really cool is this one here. This machine, obviously this is for a professional setting. This machine is designed to communicate and work together with the tamper and the grinder that is hooked up to it. They communicate through this wire that you see here. And what this machine will do is dial itself in. So the barista doesn't have to really know anything except for just moving the portafilter from spot to spot, and the machine will dial itself in. The guys working here at the booth told me that it usually takes about 10 shots before it's dialed in. And of course, that's probably from when you're using a new coffee. If you are using the same coffee from the previous day, then are just minor tweaks, and maybe after 2 or 3 shots, the machine is dialed in again for the next following day. Now, I imagine this process to work by, obviously a human first tasting the coffee, because all coffees are gonna have to be dialed in. So after you see how long this coffee should be brewing for to get the right flavor, I imagine from then on the machine remembers and dials itself in. Of course, all the big grinder manufacturers were there. As you could see a little bit of the booths here, we have Comandante, Pietro. Here are the guys from Timor. Got all their cool products. Here's Fimo book. You know, in person, the products look like super, super high end. The finish on this products is like, well, like jewelry. Really, really nice. And one of the neatest machines was this one here that was a particle analyzer. I think James Hoffman has one of these machines, but this thing was really, really cool to see it do its thing.
That works with compressed air because, of course, coffee is sticky, is oily, so you need to have some dispersion forces. So now this hopper will lift up, the sample will come, fall over the chute, go into the system, gets a combination with the compressed air, and then here the particles are passing the laser beam. That's what you see on the computer side. This is the live view of the particles passing the beam. That was the measurement duration, 20 seconds. Now it waits for a couple of seconds if still some particles are coming. Then it shuts down automatically. Transfers the images over to the computer. That happens now. So altogether you took about 2,500 pictures. And you get the calculation of the new distribution. That was the entire measurement.
What did that take? About 30 seconds? Pretty incredible.
You can get it. The measurement
That's the
duration
graph?
was 30 seconds. Yeah, correct. This
Oh
is
yeah, so I guess 30 seconds. That's pretty spot on. Yeah, pretty awesome. Thank you. Thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
All right, so let's get this show on the road. So I got the last dose from the coffee from the Dripolator here. I hope we can make it work. Oh man. You know, I really doubt it we'll get the same kind of greatness we got last time. It's just very rare that you're gonna get two perfect shots. It just doesn't happen. Even if you're dialed in, it doesn't matter. Besides, I cleaned out the niche and had to calibrate it, so most likely grind size 12 is no longer gonna work. But we're gonna try it. I'm not gonna second guess it. Sometimes I do that and then I wish I would have not second guessed it. So today, I'm just gonna roll with it. I remember weighing this out and I had just barely 18 grams. Just, yeah, there's a few little crumbs left. Couple last beans in there. All right, so we're exactly at 18. We are at grind size 12 on the niche 0. Let's grind this and see what we get. All right, first we gotta check retention, so here we go. All right, let me bring you guys in closer here. I have to try to refocus this thing. But there you see the grind. Let me show you guys. I'm not the grind, the roast level. Okay, there you see the roast level. It is a medium, a true medium. And again, this was, wow, it gave me the most delicious shot of espresso like ever. Let's try this again. So today we have the whole setup, guys. We have everything out. I want to record one of those cinematic videos this weekend. Start it up one more time. Tap the spout a couple times. Let's see if we have our 18 grams. All right, we're right there. A little bit, maybe we got a little retention from last time, just a little bit. So 18.1, we're gonna do some pod prep. Wow, I'm already getting the smell from this coffee. Oh my Lord, that smells so good. That is great. Okay, fluff it up in here. Oh my goodness. And you know, I've had this in the Fellow Utmost for, like I said, probably at least like 2 months it's been in there. And the coffee was like a month off of roast by the time I got it here, maybe, and I made that video. So it's probably been like 3 months since they, maybe even by the time I bought it, they had roasted it for a while. So maybe this coffee could be 4 months off of roast. So it goes to show you that, you know, coffee just doesn't start losing everything so fast. I think that's overrated. You know, if you keep, especially if you have a good way of keeping it, or if you freeze the coffee, you know, it should last quite a while. Okay, so we have our 18 grams. So yeah, I want to definitely do a little cinematic this weekend. I hope I won't have a chance to like edit the video, but at least if I can shoot everything. And then for the next few videos, if these flowers defy the laws of physics like last time, we'll have flowers for a while. Yeah, I kind of enjoy the setup, the whole ambience lighting and the way everything looks. I have to say, this is definitely my kind of look and my, you know, the way I'm gonna be moving forward with the videos. As far as the microphone for the phone and the way I've been locking the focus and everything, I mean, this, when I record here, everything comes out just the way I want it. I still have to keep, you know, fine tuning and maybe playing around a little bit with when I'm at the other counter, because the microphone, I gotta say, it just doesn't work as well, and I can't use this one with the camera. So it is what it is. Okay, so I haven't pulled any shots, so this is perfectly dry. There's no condensation or anything today. Let me lock in the focus. Okay, that should be perfect there, and then I'll bring you guys in closer. Okay, nice. Okay, now I'm gonna bring you guys in closer for the WDT. Okay, this should work here. Okay, this coffee is extremely fluffy. Man, I hope it's not too fine, but we'll see. When I tamp, I'll get a good feel for it. But if my alignment this time was a little bit, the calibration this time was a little bit different from last time. It's possible that I should have ground maybe at 13 or 14, but we'll see. I said I wasn't gonna second guess it, so we're gonna roll with this. Okay, let's see if we get a good tamp today. All right, that felt perfect. Yeah, that's a nice straight tamp. Little polish, make sure I don't get any coffee out. That looks beautiful right there. And you know what? It did not feel like it went like too far down or anything. I think we might get lucky here. But you can see the puck prep. I mean, this looks pretty perfect to me. All right, we're gonna come in with that puck screen from Gemini. Again, Gemini Coffee Tools. If you need a puck screen, give them a try. All right, let's lock in and then we'll pull this shot. Okay, I should have all the cameras running here. Yep, it looks like we're good to go. Okay, today we're gonna go with the Akaya. Again, you know, this video, as far as the brew session, I'm gonna keep it short because I know I'm gonna have to include some of the stuff from the show that I wanna, but well, by now you guys already saw that. I hope you guys enjoyed that. We'll talk more about the show on the next one. So stay tuned. If you haven't joined our little team here, we would love to have you. You know, we're getting close to 75% of the way there. So by the time you guys see this video, we might be really close to 750 followers. Again, we're breaking the record for like the slowest growing channel ever, but still, I really appreciate the guys and maybe a few girls out there that have joined our little team here. You know, I appreciate you guys a whole bunch. Thank you. And yeah, I enjoy recording these brew sessions for you guys. You know that the brew session is gonna happen regardless, but I don't mind recording it for you guys and sharing with you guys some of my experiences. And you know, I end up learning probably more from you guys than you guys do from me. But all right, so here we go. For these layer shots, I always start with the paddle like at 5 o'clock. And you know, I had never noticed that it takes about 9 seconds for the pressure to build. We're gonna talk about, you know, that's one of those videos that I thought like, you know, I gotta talk more about this and the reasons why and about shower screens. Recently, I saw a video, people talking about shower screens and how I think that the shower screen on the machine is pretty pointless to change it. Like to go to you know, pay money for the shower screen, you know. I'm not talking about the basket. The basket, yes, the basket makes a difference, but the shower screen makes very little difference. And I'm gonna talk about that on another video. So join us here. That's still to come. You know, I'm not gonna get into all of that today, or this is gonna get like really long. But all right, let me start the scale. Okay, here we go. You guys know how I use that automatic espresso mode, so it times and weighs the shot. It does everything, starts and stops the scale by itself. So, all right, here we go. Again, it takes about 9 seconds. You'll see about 9 seconds here. This is not gonna start timing until it senses the dripping. When it senses first drip, it'll start timing. But for a layer shot, we wanna stay between 2 and 3 bar for 30 seconds. Doesn't have to be 30 seconds, but you know, it's what I'm gonna go with today for this coffee. Okay, so we are getting there. I'm gonna start ramping up, 28. Okay, we're at 3 grams now. And we're gonna look for 45 grams out. Wow, that was a beautiful ramp up to 9 bar. It was perfect. Really nice and slow. I'm at 9 bars. So 45 grams out, that's what we're looking for. A 1 to 2.5, 18 in, 45 out. You get ready here. Look at the puck. It's not degrading at all. That needle's not even moving. Okay, I stopped it a little bit early. I ended up at 44.4, 39 seconds since first drip, 57 seconds overall. You know, this is very close to what we did that day. I don't remember what the timing was, but the grind size, it definitely worked again, okay? The smell from the coffee, I gotta tell you guys, is fantastic. I don't know about the flavor. I doubt it that the stars will align once again and we're gonna get that perfect shot. I doubt it, but let me give it a first try. I gotta say, I'm pretty excited for this one. Let me stop the Akaya and the other camera. Okay, so wow, that smells great. Man, this Ethiopian coffee just ended up wonderful. I wish I knew exactly what it was to try to find it at a different roaster or, you know, from someone else. But as a matter of fact, I wish Good Brothers would know what, I could tell them what this is and they could try to roast this. All right, here we go. And I know that Brent, usually he likes going a little bit more developed to like, maybe not medium to lights. That's where he normally ends up, medium to light. He does some darker coffees also, but you know, those medium to lights, that's where it's at for me. All right, let's see. Is it perfect? It's not perfect. It's not perfect, but we're darn near close, really close. I think the shot needed to be a little tiny little bit slower, which I know some of you guys are thinking like, wow, like he's already 35 seconds from first drip. That's like in like almost a minute overall. But you know what? I remember my first shot and what it was like, and this is really close, but it's not exactly there. Wow, it's still delicious though, I gotta say. You know, I would make a cappuccino with that, but there's no way, this being my last dose, that I'm not having this as a straight shot. So let's get over to the other counter and talk about it a little bit more, and then we'll wrap up things. Oh, and then we'll wrap things up. All right, so here it is. Give it another swirl. Cheers. I hope you guys brewed something tasty to go along here with me on this journey. Wow, that's spectacular. You know, I gotta order that Congo Kivu again. I gotta say, I gotta have that on hand. Yeah, this is very, very similar, man. I don't know what this is. I mean, not exactly, but I'm willing to bet it's the same coffee. Wow. Spectacular. You know, next time, maybe I'll include the clip from the fellow booth, talk a little bit about the, I think they call it the fellow Aiden, right? That new brewer that they have. You know, it's a nice brewer to have if you have an office, you know, I know when I'm working, you know, you just don't have a lot of time, okay? You're not gonna be doing pour overs. So having something like this in your office is kind of like the perfect brewer to have. You can dial in temperatures, you can dial in, you know, there's a lot you could do with the fellow Aiden. And I have to say that the brewer is really nice. It looks nice. It follows their kind of usual build quality and look, you know? So if you have like a fellow oat and pairing it with this brewer, wow, I gotta say that it's a nice combination. It's a nice combination to have in your office. Somebody comes in, you can offer them premium coffee. Yeah, you have that upfront like fruitiness and acidity of this coffee. Then it just mellows out and it becomes sweet. And you get those traditional flavors, you know, your dark chocolate, like burnt sugar, molasses type flavors, caramel. It's wonderful. Sad to see you go, buddy. The last time when I first reviewed the coffee, the shot was just the tiniest little bit better. That one I would say is perfect. This is close to it. It's great. Not quite to that perfect level. But again, I've pulled like maybe a couple hundred shots of espresso and I've gotten like a handful of perfect shots. Okay, I've done it with simple coffees. Like I've told you, like the one from the Dunkin', at least as perfect as that coffee could give me. Okay, but you know, gives you this kind of traditional kind of profile, and usually the coffee will have quite a good amount of acidity and the kind of berryness up front flavors. Very, you know, close to what this is. Not as good, but close. It gets you in the ballpark, and it's not a coffee you can buy anywhere. That's why I always have some of that on tap. The last bag that I bought of it, I have to say it wasn't the best sample of that coffee that I've ever had. That one was quite a bit roastier. I don't know if by visually you could see it was a little bit darker, the roast, but I'm willing to bet it was. Not as light as I usually get from that coffee, but still it was acceptable. It was fine. That's the one we used to compare the Brewburst and the Duo and the Niche Zero. But then again, I did the same comparison. I didn't film it, but I did it with that geisha coffee that I have from Good Brothers, which is, quite light of a roast. And I still couldn't. And that one, I could tell even less the difference. That one was very, very similar to identical. Okay, and the other one, when it cooled, there was the tiniest of difference. There was the tiniest of bitterness hiding in the background on the coffee from the Niche Zero, which did not exist on the coffee from the Duo. And I'm talking about after it cooled down. In the beginning, it tasted the same to me. Again, I still struggle to find the difference in burrs. I cannot imagine it being a big difference. Even the people that can taste it, it's hard for them to give you like a quantity of difference, right? To like put a number to it, so that you could imagine, but it's gotta be very small. It has to be. Recently I saw a video from Hoon where he had Sal on, and they were doing one of those comparisons they like doing was hand grinders, and they're guessing like, I like this one better, this one more, this one less. But some grinders, the difference in price was pretty drastic, and you could see where they were like going back and forth, and it's not like it's not an easy thing to see any kind of difference. At that point, is it worth it? I don't think so. I think you should definitely, and I've said it before, you should definitely buy a grinder based on build quality, on workflow, and on the look of it, more than the taste of it, because they're all gonna taste. If you're buying something of quality, it's gonna be very little difference in taste from like a $500 grinder to a $5,000 grinder. The difference in taste is gonna be small. So at that point, is it worth it? That depends. If it's your end game grinder, this is your hobby, you want to spend money on it, makes you happy, by all means, go for it. Get your end game set up. But I think a Niche Zero is the sweet spot. It gives you everything, from the look to the build quality to the workflow to, it's pretty much perfect. I'm happy to have the Duo. I love the pair, and I love the way it looks on my countertop. Like I said, I've been using the Duo for pour-overs almost always. But I did the comparison between the brew bursts on the Duo and on the Niche Zero, and I couldn't taste any difference. Whatever difference I found was probably placebo, and we'll just leave it at that. Anyway, I'm happy to have been able to hang out here with you guys today for whatever this video ends up being. I know a lot of it is gonna depend as to the clips I included from the show. But anyway, it was a wonderful shot of espresso. I was happy to spend the time here with you guys, once again. And you guys can expect a video from me every Sunday morning at 7 a.m. And again, sometimes every now and then I'll sprinkle in some Friday videos. And I'm planning on doing one of those cinematic ones, filming it this weekend, and hopefully I'll have that posted on a Friday pretty soon. So thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you guys a whole bunch. I look forward to your comments all the time. I really do. Carrie, I reached out recently on one of your comments. It was special. It was special. It made me feel it made me feel great. So thank you for coming back Sunday after Sunday. I appreciate you a whole bunch. And a lot of you other guys, it feels like I know you guys, Wojtek, Nick, Joan, John, there's a few guys out there, Jesse, which was pretty much the person that got me into like recording these longer videos. And I haven't heard from him for a while. But anyway, buddy Jesse, if you run into this video, drop by and say hello. Drop by down in the comments and say hello. So anyway, off with their heads. Off with their heads. I don't know if maybe we already had a conversation as to like what I should call you, because the off with their heads kind of. Anyway, it's funny to me. But yeah, he has become or I mean, I don't know if off with their heads it's a girl or a guy or whomever it may be. Thank you for watching the videos. I appreciate you guys a whole bunch. Cheers, and I'll see you guys next Sunday. You know, there's a lot of other names. I just can't think of all the names right now, and some of you guys are not, it's not like a name, it's like a bunch of like numbers or whatever, and it's hard to remember those kind of YouTube handles. But if you guys drop into the comments, you know, on a regular basis, you tell me your name, I will start remembering some of the names. So, but I really appreciate you guys a whole bunch. Thank you for watching. Please give the video a thumbs up. Join the channel if you haven't done so already, and I'll see you guys next Sunday.